Investment planning is one piece of the pie. Retirement planning is the whole pie. There's a season of life where you need to flip the switch. Your whole life, you've been save, save, save. Now we need to flip the switch to spend and enjoy. Give yourself permission to enjoy life. If I did all of the math and came back to you the next time we meet and said, hey, you can retire tomorrow, when would you actually retire? Typical investment planning, investment management, whatever you want to call it, it's the advisor focusing on how much they can grow your money, right? So it's really just a subsect of the plan. The idea in retirement planning is to make sure that we have all the pieces of your life, that quarter of your life mapped out, meaning how much can I afford to spend? How much risk can I take without losing a bunch of my portfolio? I want to take the grandkids to Disney, or want to go on a trip, whatever you want life to look like. That should be the driver. The investment management piece is, am I picking the right stock? Am I choosing the right opportunity? But it's only that small portion. So investment planning is one piece of the pie. Retirement planning is the whole pie. When you think about most advisors' approach to investing, their approach is going to be, hey, look how much money I can make you. How much can you accumulate? How much you grow these assets? And that's a very important phase of your life, but that's not what we're focused on now, right? This next phase is where most advisors avoid talking about it because it means you're spending down your assets, right? And so if you think about an advisor, how they get paid as a percentage of managing your portfolio. Do they want you to have less money in your account? Typically not. But the way that I look at it is this is 100% your money. If you want your last check to bounce, let's plan for that to happen, right? We don't want to leave anything to the kids. That's okay. Let's spend it all. Let's distribute assets. The accumulation phase was the first 40 to 50 years of your life. Here's the next 30 years of your life, typically 30, 35, 40 years. And so now this is the part where we need to distribute assets. But if we don't take the time to plan properly, one of two things happens. One, we either don't spend enough money because we're so nervous about running out of money, right? So we're stressed, we're not living the lifestyle we deserve. Or the other side is we don't plan and we spend too much money, then we run out of money before we run out of time. Neither of those is what we want to happen, right? So we want to make sure that in this retirement planning phase, or this distribution planning phase, or the spending phase, whatever you want to call it, that you're spending in a way where you can enjoy life. There's a season of life where you need to flip the switch, right? Your whole life, you've been save, save, save. Really, as you enter into this retirement, pre-retirement phase, now we need to flip the switch to, let's not maybe save so much and let's spend and enjoy and give yourself permission to enjoy life. What I usually ask them to get them really truly thinking about how to answer this question is, if I did all of the math and came back to you the next time we meet and said, hey, you can retire tomorrow, when would you actually retire, right? And so then they think about it, because the answer to that question initially is always, well, I'd retire tomorrow. So I say, well, if you could retire tomorrow, would you actually do it? And so we come up with a plan to unwind all of that. And there was a couple that came to me and they just were not sure that they had enough saved because she had received a diagnosis that was a degenerative diagnosis. And so it forced them to have to retire, 5 to 6 years early. And they just were not sure that they were going to be able to afford to do it. So then they have assets kind of scattered all over the place. There's no real plan there. And so we sat down and we come up with a plan, and then they feel relieved because now she doesn't have to worry or work till 66, 67, and she can actually retire at 60. He was a little bit older. He was 62. So it was a little bit more in line with them, but they wanted to retire early so that they could enjoy life. So when you can come up with a solution for somebody who's trying to accomplish that, there's really no better feeling. You need to find a balance in what you're actually saving, because honestly, it's morbid to think about, but we don't know if we're actually going to get to retire, right? My best friend was my father-in-law. Well, he built his own company and was really successful. But then out of nowhere, we get a diagnosis, his back is hurting and all this. We take him to the doctor and we found out that he had cancer, right? And then 6 months later, he's gone. And he was only 52 years old. And so what I like to tell people is focus on the things that are truly important, and then let somebody else like me or somebody you can trust focus on the finance part. I've had the conversation plenty of times. It's like, well, I'm 55, I'm 58, I'm 59. I don't really want to retire. I'm making I'm comfortable making all this money. I work really hard, but it's okay. And so I think if you can line out and flip that and say, okay, here's what you've built. You've done a great job. You've won the game. Based on what you build, here's exactly what you can spend. So you don't have to worry about, hey, I still need to save that 20% number we just talked about. We're no longer focusing on that savings number. We're now focusing on our spending number. If you lived long enough to make it to this point in your life, you've had plenty of surprises. How you're going to get through retirement doesn't need to be one of them. That's why structure is the strategy.